of silence.
Wow. Very well done, man. Very impressive. Kennedy Miles here is wow, he just literally owned the song here. Hello friends, welcome once again to Look and Live. You are now here with Pastor James Devalon, and this is another reaction video. Today we are going to react to the song entitled The Sound of Silence. This is a cover version of that song. The original writer is if I can look it up here quickly, it is yeah, it is Simons and Garfield, Paul Simons and Garfield. It's been around for a little while. Really sounds really good. It's a very nice song. So it was released in 1964. Yeah, so we're gonna check this one out today. This cover version by the band Disturbed, Miles Kennedy, Sound of Silence. Yeah, brace yourself as we get into the heart of this message. All right, let's do it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And the vision that was planted in my brain,
Wow.
still remains
Impressive.
within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
Wow. Very well done, man. Very impressive. Kennedy Miles here is wow, he just literally owned the song here. And I know that I don't like to compare and contrast, you know, because each person, each artist and each version is just as beautiful. But what I see him doing here is just that he is playing with the lower register of his voice, and he's also is very I love the connectivity that he does have here with the song. You could see that he's somewhat connecting to the word and the content of the message as well, which is very powerful to me. He's not just singing a song, he's somewhat expressing, he's kind of inviting you into some personal stuff in his own personal life as well through the message of the song. And also that voice, man, that low bass, smooth, somewhat of a baritone, that octave type of voice, is actually amazing. Very great. Awesome. And I love the video too. It goes along with the message, that dark version, you know, yellow darkness, and that, you know, so you don't get the bright colors and everything. And also just the emotion and the way he's connecting to the audience with his eyes here speaks very volume as well. Great job.
Of silence, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening.
Wow.
Stand the sound of silence.
Very nice. He's able to dial it up too. So much emotion though in the song that I actually enjoy this content. I love the original. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna start comparing and contrasting here. I think both composers, both musicians brought something different to the table. But I love this one.
Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows.
Yes.
Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed
Wow.
to the neon god they made.
Oh. Ooh. Did you see all that emotion on his face in connection with that grouchy type of eerie, that rock and roll kind of vocal stuff he's doing here? So appealing, so strong, so emotional, so captivating as well. I love the content. He is putting so much more emotions into the song than the original. I love what he's doing here. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. And I just love the visuals because the visuals is connecting the content of the song through the artist. Is just doing it so well. What a move. Let me check this. I want to back this one up a little.
Of silence, and the people bowed and prayed
Wow.
to the neon god they made.
Yeah.
And the sign flashed out his warning, and the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words on the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
That is crazy. Amazing. That was beautiful. That was exceptionally amazing. I love the content. Oh man, first of all, where do I start? Examining the visual. Beautiful. Love the simplicity of the visual. Just the video in itself is just beautiful, and the color great, and just the content and the quality of it is just awesome. The emotion on the eyes of this artist, Miles Kennedy, he is he's doing everything right. So much emotion, and the content of his voice, he has that ability to play and remain in that lower register, and he can raise it up and start doing that type of rock and roll, that heavy metal feel. You get that coming from his vocal ability as well. This is amazing. This is a great song. So much register, so much. When he turned it up at the end, that you weren't expecting that. He really did an amazing job with that. To top it off, what really impresses me about this is also the message in itself. Like, what is really this about? And it's talking about the sound of silence. So the implication of that is somewhat referring to the ideas that we sometimes don't know how to rightfully talk to each other, or sometimes we are In relationships, when we husbands, can I speak to the husbands here? We go quiet. We choose to say nothing. So in connection is that not having the ability to communicate our thoughts and ideas or even emotion in a cohesive, constructive way. Sometimes for those of us who do communicate, we do it wrong. And I'm speaking to the ladies now. I'm just stereotyping a little bit here, but the point is, sometimes those of us who try to communicate our emotions and ideas, whether it is a faith, a purpose, a point, sometimes we do it wrong, with sternness and a lot of aggression that oftentimes block the content of the message from it being received correctly. The other dangerous aspect is failure to communicate altogether. So it's one thing to communicate wrong, it's another thing to fail to communicate altogether. And I think both is dangerous. So oftentimes what we do, we go to a place of silence where we say, I would rather not say anything, and that's not good either, because those emotions are just as real, as serious as they need to be communicated. We need to speak. We need to be able to voice our opinion on certain matters. And I think, especially in the condition of our world today, there is so much a need for people like yourself and myself to voice our opinion on matters that are really concerning in our society. And the more we stay quiet about things that may be plaguing our world, and we know that these things are wrong, it even brings about more trouble. And what's very strange about it is the people who are in error, they seem to speak louder than the people who are in truth. And if we know what the truth is, we understand right from wrongs. And I think we have a responsibility to speak more of that content, of that truth, to those who might not know. So I'm guessing the message here is saying, are you gonna say hello to the sound of darkness and the sound of silence rather than to speak the light, communicate truth? And I think that's somewhat what he's being portrayed here. And I think there needs to be, even in relationships in the home, there needs to be a time where we come together and talk about the way we feel and what we think, and just be able to expose and share our views. And I think talking is one thing, but being able to listen is another art in itself. Can you listen when somebody else is communicating with you? And I think I would like to make my transition here, where God says in his word, today, if you will hear his voice and you will not harden your heart. God also does communicate. God speaks through the scriptures, and I think sometimes we don't listen. And the other dangerous aspect of that is sometimes we don't speak enough to God. And some of us who do try to speak, sometimes we don't speak with faith and confidence. Sometimes we speak only when certain things are going wrong in our lives. So therefore we talk to God based on the circumstances of life, which is actually not a very good thing. We should speak to God every time, as often as possible. Yeah, when those circumstances do arise, we can naturally have that communication line open. Prayer, seeking his face through the study of the word. And I think to top it off is just not only talking to God, listen to God, but being able to communicate to a society that might be headed the wrong direction. And I think that is also another key point. When you go to the book of Isaiah, I want to give you a single verse here. Israel was given the charge to do something that God felt the need to be done. It says it here. Yeah, there it is. Let me bring this up, make it bigger for you. Isaiah 58 verse 1. He says, cry aloud and spare not, and lift up your voice. Lift up your voice like a ram's horn, and show my people their rebellion, and the house of Jacob their sins. So this is going back to the context. The people were living in a way that they were neglecting the poor. They were not really ministering to those in need, and they were living as if they were spiritual, while they were really neglecting those who were in need around them. So the idea was, you need to speak to these people and let them know what they are doing wrong. while they think they're doing right. And I think we can take the idea and the message here saying, I have a responsibility, you also have a responsibility to communicate to people who may think they're doing right, but when they are actually doing wrong. So if you know what is right, if you know the truth, if you know what somebody ought to be doing, your sons and your daughters, therefore we have a responsibility to warn them, to speak to them, to share with them what they might be doing wrong so they can go and do what is right. So we cannot speak to the silence. We actually need to speak and lift up our voice and move away from the darkness and let the truth be known. I appreciate this content. Thank you so much for checking it out with me. Yeah, that was great, man. I have to admit, the original was just as good. Don't get me wrong. In a different form, of course. But Sound of Silence here by Disturbed, and Kennedy Miles did an awesome job with this one. I really appreciate this. Let me know what you think in the description below, in the comment below. Put your recommendation below. How did you discover this channel? What do you like about it so far? And always, and as always, look unto Jesus, live by faith. And by the way, before you do just that, don't forget to like and subscribe to this page. Click the bell icon as well. Okay, God bless you. Till next time, look unto Jesus and live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.